he just has a smaller army, and you whomp him over with one big push.
So it's one thing to keep in mind here, and how did In Control prepare for this? Well, we're about to find out as we have added him to the game. And guys, as I mentioned, this is going to be the last matchup for StarCraft 2 of the evening, but once we're all finished, we'll tell you exactly what you can expect tomorrow and Sunday here to conclude our first event at Dallas. And if you're in the area, come on down to the Dallas Convention Center here in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, come say hello. A lot of opportunities to meet the players, great new fan area to come and just watch the games. And look at that. Let's just get into it.
It's going to be, it looks like, EG In Control spawning in the south position as the blue Protoss. There's a big cheer for In Control. Has such a huge fan base. And of course, TLO, the man himself, perhaps the biggest fan base in SC2. He is in the north position, choosing Terran. And everyone is just...
You know what? The biggest fan base is not an understatement, because this guy had a legion of people meet him at the airport when he arrived home to Germany. I saw the pictures on Team Liquid. I hope you guys did too. And he looked really happy amongst all those fans. It was so cool. It was so cool.
You see that first pylon going down for In Control. Not planning it by the ramp. Does not want to have that any vulnerability. If there is any sort of early Marauder pressure, TLO likewise planting down his first depot right next to his command center. Nothing out of the ordinary yet, but we are seeing In Control do a very safe scout through the center of the map first that allows him to spot any incoming cheesiness.
And he's going to go and march right into the base of TLO. And I know that a lot of people just hear that name TLO and instantly they expect, you know, that sort of craziness, that sort of unique build style, etc. But, you know, like I mentioned, Dave, it's also kind of scary because he is completely capable of playing a standard, straight-up game, and you just never know what to expect.
That's absolutely correct. I mean, TLO, if you've ever watched his streams, he just plays very, very well overall. And sometimes he just doesn't do any sort of goofiness, because at no point is he thinking to himself, do I want to be goofy or do I want to be standard? He just thinks, what is the correct play to do? And sometimes it turns out being your run-of-the-mill Terran style. That's what makes him such a weird opponent, is that he doesn't exactly have huge preparation. He's a very intuitive player who trusts himself deeply.
Gas done, gateway up, probe is still checking things out. We will see a gas steal coming out here by In Control, and might actually be a good decision considering that some of the quote-unquote crazy things, the unique things we see out of TLO can be gas-heavy, but we're going to have one Marine out starting to work on that assimilator. May just choose to cancel it or just let it finish and let it be a hassle to his opponent. SCV is going to scout the close position, and In Control will continue. It does look like he'll let the assimilator go ahead and finish. And the cybernetics core also about halfway done at this point. Will take his second gas as we move forward into the 4th minute of the game.
And this is actually one of the most unique aspects of In Control's play. Pretty consistently always gets that gas geyser down, and this is such a nice move by TLO, moving all these Marines to the front of his base, but he doesn't want to probe to waltz in and spot exactly what's going on. In Control can actually get an exact count of how many Marines are coming out. Let's say a Marauder pops out and gets attacked. Now he has a sense of what tech you're doing.
Right.
So TLO's trying to respond by getting a good scout in his opponent's main while denying a scout with the Marines in front.
Yeah, you know, we see some people leave literally the one Marine there, leaving it a cloud of mystery for their opponent, and in this case just 2 Marines to get the job done, and there it is. Vision is now gone. SCV from TLO is actually going to get caught here by the Stalker of In Control. Looks like I thought maybe he was going to go around to this backside near the rocks. He could, you know, stay there and try to find a good opportunity to go into your opponent's base and get a little bit more information. Look at that right here. We have a Stargate at the edge of In Control's base, pretty much closest to TLO that he can get.
I don't know how much I like this play from In Control. I mean, generally, TLO is not very susceptible to these types of plays because he plays pretty cheese-proof. We are seeing this one Scout Stalker able to deny any sort of Hellion move out. I would really like the In Control to advance kind of fast. The real risk of opening up Moiray is that you do end up committing yourself all in a lot of circumstances where you just don't want to.
and we are going to have a little push out here of 6 Marines and SCV and this 1 Hellion. Back at the base, we do have a single Stalker out. Anything else coming from that gateway? Looks like no. How's Warpgate Research doing? Almost completed, so he'll be able to open up 2 gates with 1 just finishing, a 3rd on the way, get some more units out. Don't really think that TLO is going to push with that, just trying to take center control, but In Control looks like he'll definitely be ready. Now, how will this Void Ray make it to the base? There's a long distance to travel if he doesn't go through the middle.
And man, is In Control really going to be here? Oh, and there's the warp in. That's a great place to position to be able to reinforce, pop some zealots down there. But it looks like TLO is gearing up to do himself a little FD push, moving out with some Marines and an early tank. But it looks like In Control has to be careful of this increasing Marine count. But keep in mind, those tanks do have range 7. Very, very potent in an early push. TLO does land with a chance to really could be supposed to be caught fairly off guard by this attack.
Well, the 1 Void Ray that he made is just sitting at the base. 2nd Void Ray is out as well. Nothing has been warped in here, but one thing to keep in mind, the pylon is up. Maybe he lets this expansion get up, and hold on, we've got a fight here at the middle. Oh, Marines are going to catch those Void Rays. One of them might go down. Stalkers do move forward. Zealot in the front, and he will force TLO to get back. Does give away that the Void Rays that are out, but he will continue to move forward. Going to run his opponent all the way back to the base. Zealots, no. Yes, oh my gosh, 1 Zealot and Sentry trying to warp in, and basically I think he was going to try to force field the ramp, reinforcements, but now I think that timing not so good.
Oh, the force
it
field
down.
tactic, so good by In Control, completely cutting off those reinforcements. TLO trying to do a little bit of micro here, be able to perhaps stay alive a touch longer, but this is such a huge force.
Wow.
And there's a good game. It's just too much for TLO to handle. In Control with a little bit of an all-in-ish play, but combating that funky build from TLO perfectly. You know, that is one reason that I think In Control is motivated to do that sort of attack. All the crazy funkiness that TLO does, it's very easy to get in the habit of, oh, I'm going to be the one doing stuff to you, and you're going to have to play all defensively. But sometimes the best response to that is just a big old attack early on when TLO's trying to get a little too cute.
Yeah, and you know, it seemed like a great use of the change in the map. You know, there's that little area just outside the natural where you put a unit there, hide it. In this case, it was a pylon. And I think TLO maybe not that happy with himself because, you know, technically there's not much of an excuse to not scout that area. I think that probe was chilling there for quite some time, and we saw In Control make an effort to get that probe out of there, not give it up to the Marines, just so that he could save it for that exact reason. I was pretty impressed with that game all the time.
Yeah, and you know, In Control, that tactic that he used is one of those things that people would criticize of a ladder player, saying, you know, oh, you're trying to hide pylons by his base. Those do on ladder get spotted so often that a lot of times you think, yeah, well, I'm just not going to do that. In Control is one of the players who consistently goes for that sort of play because in a tournament situation like this, all it takes is for your opponent to make that one little critical error to get a very easy win. It's so funny, all the tactics that slowly get phased out because people just kind of assume, yeah, no one's going to do it. You just bring one out, people are shocked. That's how Hesuops took out Huck from the Team Liquid Star League. Just build a pylon in Huck's base.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we can go back historically in MLG2 and remember these proxy Stargates that took out Idra. You know, in this case, the interesting thing about a build like that is that I guarantee you with 100% certainty that TLO would never in a million years let that ever happen again. Like, he will actively scout that area for the rest of his life. So it's kind of like a StarCraft life lesson. And, you know, with the new maps and with all the different tricks that you can do on them, you know, that's just one of those things that you kind of got to, in this case, learn the hard way. That's also the same thing playing in the ladder. It looks like he's playing for a second match. Going to be on Tesla and Galaxy Cup.
This is going to be a little bit of an interesting choice because a lot of people hate it because of how strong certain players are. And we see TLO play in Terran, and here it is, TLO versus In Control. Game 2, TLO spawning in the right position as the red Terran, and in the bottom left we have In Control as the blue Protoss.
I'm really excited to see what's going to come out of here. You know, one of those interesting strats that come out because it sort of had a 50-50 chance of working. It did work and put In Control that one game up. TLO, afterwards we saw a shot of him. Didn't look so happy. Again, probably more upset with himself than he was necessarily his opponent on that. Sometimes when that does happen to you, you just have to say, hey, good job, you pulled a fast one over me. And so we start out here on the opening moment, and these positions are actually the exact same positions that we just saw in the Indra Kiwi talking map. No one's going to spawn and go left forest.
It's all metal and ash. No, I think TLO is a player who's going to be far more sensitive to that. A lot more TLO scouting around the ring because he's making sure nothing crazy comes up. And oh, I think TLO is going to be planning perhaps a straight up cover.
Smartphone with everything you need and the one thing you want. Xperia Play from Sony Ericsson. I am here in the shadows. My meditation is over. State thy bidding.
Its way up to 1-3-4, but I see that best bug, and realize, well, Incontrol's not there, so I know exactly where it is on the street plan map.
And there's Incontrol. Here comes the team scout. Gonna see no gaps at all. I don't think Incontrol is so bold to see both of them. We see Incontrol now up the gateway, getting very fast back to afterwards as that second pylon planted in 94 location. TLO looks like he's going for your very standard by the book early expo, and oh, this is definitely Incontrol playing.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? He did a great job with control that probe. He actually took it down the ramp, and then you'll notice here on Test Bug, there's a lot of surface area here inside the base, and you really have to be actively looking for it. Command center does go down, but Marine's still out, and they don't know anything about that probe. Now, if that probe can sneak all the way down here, throw down a pylon, a couple zealots in there, it could be game over. So let's see if Dario does it. Marines are going to come back into the base, and will they make their way around? I do not know, but this is kind of one of those scary moments here in StarCraft 2.
So dangerous. We even see a gas geyser going down for TLO. It looks like he might be favoring to do more of Marine-focused play instead of teching, but I'm so worried about this factory lead. I mean, if Incontrol just throws down a couple of gateways, does even a 3-gate push absolutely devastating to TLO early on.
Yeah, and within the grass, I'm not sure how the properties of that work if the Marines have to technically be right up next to the probe in order to see it. But you know what? This scouting does not look like it is going on at all. Just more Marines being thrown out here. We've got 2 more barracks going down. We're going to have a bunker at the top of the ramp as well. SCV making its way over. Will be stopped by the Stalker, or maybe not. Take it on.
Uh-oh, there's the pylon, but oh, TLO managed to spot the 4 gates going on. Oh, he might suspect something. Oh my gosh, look at the vision range. He is just out of sight range, and I mean in control. And look at this, building a supply depot. He wants to be absolutely positive that 4 gate is in fact coming, but look at this. Bunkers in the completely wrong position. TLO is going to have units warping his main in seconds.
Oh my gosh, this is actually going to be totally crazy. Supply depot, it didn't even need to finish. We now have units coming inside the base. First, a couple of sentries are going to go up there. They're going to hide in that tall grass. He's going to wait. Next coming up is going to be Zealots, and he can go in there to the mineral line, effectively force field away the Marines. Terrible damage with those Zealots, but he might actually wait 1 additional round to make sure that he has enough units to actually pull this off. Getting another pylon, making sure they won't get the flylock. Stalkers outside, and they could come in from the front door inside the base. Oh my god! side. Stalkers are going to attack him from the front, and this could be it.
For the reckoning.
Unit still getting orphaned by In Control. He's going to even have another round of sentries to go along with it. Look at how high that gas is. There's more sentries popping on in. And I think